My name is Margaret. I'm 74 years old, and I lost my son, Daniel, 3 weeks ago. The day of his funeral was the coldest day of my life, not because of the weather, but because of the moment my daughter-in-law, Vanessa, walked up to me, her eyes empty, her voice stone cold, and said, "You have 1 week to leave the house. This place is mine now." I remember my hands shaking, not from fear, but from disbelief. My son had been dead for not even 3 hours. People were still placing roses on his coffin. His best friend was still holding my shoulders so I wouldn't collapse. My granddaughter was still crying into my dress. And yet, Vanessa was thinking about the house. My house. The house I bought 40 years ago. The house my husband and I built a life in. The house my son took his first steps in. I whispered, "This is my home." But she leaned close to my ear and said, "Not anymore. You're old. You're alone. And I'm done pretending to care." I felt something inside me break. Not because of her words, but because she was the woman my son chose to spend his life with. He never saw who she truly was. Vanessa entered our lives 10 years ago. She was pretty, charming, ambitious. Or so I thought. It took me only a few months to see her real nature. She didn't just want comfort, she wanted control. She wanted everything Daniel had, everything I had, everything she believed life owed her. The first time I realized something was wrong was the day she told my son, "Your mother lives here for free. Why are you supporting her?" I wasn't living for free. I paid the mortgage, I paid the bills, I paid for their wedding. I even helped raise their daughter, little Emily. But her resentment grew, and my son, he loved her too much to see it. I stayed quiet for his peace. But silence has a price. And mine was collected the day of his funeral. After the funeral, the house felt haunted. Not by ghosts, but by memories of my son. His laughter echoing in the hallway. His footsteps coming down the stairs. His voice calling, "Mom, I'm home." I walked into his old childhood bedroom and fell to the floor. Every memory hit me like a stone. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the edge of his bed, holding his old baseball glove, and asking God why I was still here. At sunrise, I started packing my bags. But while packing, I remembered something. Every mortgage payment, every repair, every tax bill, every legal document, every transfer form. They were all in my name. And Daniel's name. Never Vanessa's. And then I found it, the folder I had almost forgotten existed. I didn't know it back then, but that little folder was going to change everything. The next day, I took the documents to a lawyer. A young man named Oscar, barely in his 30s, but sharp as a blade. He looked through everything, page by page. And after 20 minutes, he said, "Ma'am, what I'm about to tell you is important." I held my breath. He continued, "Your daughter-in-law altered documents after your son's death. The signature is forged. The transfer is invalid. And the house is legally yours." I felt the air leave my chest. Forged. She forged my son's signature. Oscar looked at me and said, "You can take legal action. Or you can remove her from the property immediately." I closed my eyes. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted peace. But Vanessa, she didn't want peace. She wanted everything. So I simply said, "Do what needs to be done." Exactly 1 week after the funeral, the day she told me to leave, I returned to the house. This time, I wasn't alone. A sheriff's car was parked in the driveway. Oscar was standing near the steps. Vanessa opened the door with her usual arrogant smirk. "Oh, look who's back," she said. "You have 10 minutes to get whatever you forgot." Oscar stepped forward. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "you need to vacate the property immediately." Her smirk fell. "What are you talking about? This is MY house." The sheriff handed her the paperwork. "Legally," he said, "this property belongs to Mrs. Margaret and her son. Any alterations done after her son's death are invalid." She turned to me furious. "What did you do?" I looked her straight in the eyes and said, quietly, "You asked me to leave your house. So I did. Now I'm asking you to leave mine." She screamed. She cried. She cursed. But the law didn't care. Within an hour, she was packing her own bags. The same bags she expected me to carry. And for the first time in years, I felt my son's presence, not in pain, but in justice. As she walked out, Emily, my granddaughter, ran toward me. "Grandma, are you leaving too?" she cried. I picked her up, held her tight, and said, "No, sweetheart. This is my home, and it will always be your second home." Vanessa pulled her away and snapped, "You will never see her again." The sheriff stepped in immediately. "That is not your decision today. Not anymore." Vanessa froze. For the first time, she realized she had lost everything. Not just the house, not just the fight, but her control. People often ask me if I regret what I did. No, because silence is not kindness, and endurance is not strength. Sometimes, you must fight not for revenge, not for pride, but to honor the people you love. I didn't fight Vanessa for myself. I fought for Daniel, for his memory, for his daughter, for the truth. And now, when I sit on the porch in the evening watching the sunset, I whisper, "So this is peace." The peace my son wanted for me, the peace I earned, and the peace I will never again take for granted.